So the demand in the economic sector to grow livestock production is increased by year. To ensure our food production are sustainable, scientists develop cultured meat which are believed to solve the problem current agriculture, which are limitation on arable land, climate change, and the pollution resulting from the farming. So some aspects need to measure before regulation is meant for a novel foodstuff, such as the halal status of the food, the safety of the foods, the perception of consumer, and nutritional added. In this presentation, we will discuss on the fortifying cultured meat with beta-carotene produced by cow muscle cells. It is a modification through genetic engineering and tissue culture which are intentionally to improve the quality of the meat and add to the nutritional of the cultured meat.
Now, let's move on to the next subtopic. Now, we're talking about the technique used for cultured meat. Basically, there are two techniques that are often used in culturing meat. The first one is the self-organizing technique. In this technique, the use of an explant from the muscle of a donor animal is utilized, which is then proliferated in a nutrient medium. The second technique is the scaffold-based technique, whereas embryonic myoblasts or adult skeletal muscle satellite cells are proliferated, attached to a scaffold or a carrier, and then perfused with a culture medium in a suitable bioreactor. Next, I will brief about the general steps on how the cultured meat is produced. First of all, muscle sample is taken from a suitable animal. It is usually taken under local anesthesia by biopsy. After that, the stem cells will separate from all other muscle components. Induced cells, or known as myoblasts, will grow and proliferate. Choice of conditions such as temperature and oxygen, culture medium composition, and growth factors are critical in this step. Then, the induced cells will merge to form multinuclear myotubes. Following that, further growth will occur by continued merging of new myoblasts and differentiation of myotubes to form muscle fibers. In the next step, continued growth must be ensured as the system is scaled up to a commercially viable operation. In this step, environmental, nutrient, and growth factors inputs remain critical. Lastly, the resulting product will be processed into a product that mimics meat.
Okay, so how the cultured meat is fortified with the beta-carotene? The answer is there is a system called the Sleeping Beauty transposon, which it is kind of mechanism that provide the cut and paste tool to cut open the genome cell randomly to insert the new desired DNA. So in this case, the inserted gene is the one that can encode the carotenoid producing enzymes. The enzymes involved are extracted from a bacterium called Pentanoa ananetis, which they will convert the native GGPP into the phytoin, lycopene, and the beta-carotene. The three enzymes involved, which are the phytoin synthase, phytoin desaterase, and the lycopene cyclase. To be more specific, it is started by the first enzyme, which is the phytoin synthase, that will convert the GGPP into the first carotenoid, phytoin. Then, the second enzyme, the phytoin desaterase, will turn some of the phytoin into the second carotenoid, which is the lycopene. And lastly, the enzyme lycopene cyclase will turn some of the lycopene into the third carotenoid, which is the beta-carotene. As the result, the cow cell, which previously cannot produce the beta-carotene or these three antioxidants, now can produce the three different carotenoids.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to explain about beta-carotene and cancer prevention. So, when cooking food, especially meats at high temperature, may produce certain chemical we call as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon and also hydrolytic amines, which are carcinogenic chemicals that may increase the risk of having cancer. So, many findings and studies found that beta-carotene and carotenoid containing foods such as vegetable may lower the incidence of having certain cancers such as stomach cancer, lung cancer, and many else. So, what is the relationship between beta-carotene and cancer prevention? Beta-carotene is an anti-carcinogen, which is a chemical substance that may alter the process of metabolism of carcinogens, which in result will prevent the cancer. The study also showed that hepatic liposomal enzyme system, which is involved in the carcinogen metabolism, is depressed by increasing the concentration of beta-carotene in a diet. Beta-carotene protection against carcinogen may also due to its antioxidant properties. Antioxidant inhibits the oxidative free radical damage to the DNA or other macromolecules before it becomes fixed as mutations. Beta-carotene also enhance the immune response and lymphocyte production, which is white blood cell that produce antibodies in the body.
Beta-carotene in food can be used in food products through fortification of vitamins and minerals to overcome the issue of nutrient deficiency among human population, especially in developing countries. Beta-carotene also can be used in food through biofortification of food crops, mostly in staple foods such as rice, wheat, maize, and flour. There are several ways being used as metabolic engineering of plant carotenoids. First is push strategies where the metabolic flux upstream of a target compound is enhanced through overexpression of one or more biosynthetic enzymes. Examples of crops that use this method are beta-carotene fortified golden canola, rice, potatoes, maize, cassava, wheat, sorghum, and bananas. Next is block strategies. By decreasing the metabolic flux downstream of a target compound or on a competent metabolic branch through gene silencing. For example, potatoes and oranges. Other strategies are by increasing the size of the metabolic chain of the compartment where carotenoids are accumulated, and lastly, by increasing post-harvest carotenoid stability.
So today I will resume from my previous groupmate. Okay, so when we discuss about cultured meat, there is always a question about is it halal or haram if we eat the meat from the cultured meat. Okay, so here is the one of the verse in the Quran that tells about the things that are prohibited in Islam. Okay, so the cultured meat usually is produced from some type of stem cell. So there is two type of stem cell. First is embryonic stem cells (ESCs), and second is adult stem cells or known as ASC. Okay. First, the embryonic stem cells (ESC) are animals' embryonic cells formed as a result of fertilization between male and female gametes. Adult stem cells are obtained by taking a portion of meat from the animal's body, such as cow or fish, either when the animal is alive or after it was dead. Okay, so is it halal or haram? So for the embryonic stem cells, or known as ESC, the cultured meat produced from ESC is considered as clean or halal. But if it is taken from animals that is only properly slaughtered according to Islam, and also the animal itself is permissible by Islam to be eaten. For example, is cow, chicken, buffalo, and etc. Okay, for the second type, the AAC, adult stem cells, it is also can be halal if the animals are properly slaughtered and that, and it will be halal. So if it is slaughtered but the meat is taken when it is still alive, it is still permissible to eat, but it is a detestable act. It is not recommended. And also the second one is not a prohibited animal based on Islam, such as pig, tiger, and etc. Okay, so next is the importance of slaughtering. So as I said above, the halal status of cultured meat mostly influenced by the slaughtering. Means that the slaughtering is really an important aspect to decide whether the cultured meat is halal or haram. Okay, so one of the main conditions for animal to be slaughtered are first, the animals must be alive during the slaughtering process. And the second, the animal must only die due to the act of slaughtering, not because anything else, not because of the shock or anything else, or hunger. Okay, and the third is the animals is not hunted by the people who are in ihram. Okay, that's all. So I already answered whether it is halal or haram. So in general, it is halal as long as it is taken from the animals that has been slaughtered, and the animal itself, it is permissible by Islam to be eaten. It cannot be the source cannot be something like pig or tiger or eagle or something like that.
Next, I will proceed to consumer acceptance on cultured meat. There will be two sections that will be discussed in this part, which is first one is overall acceptance rates and the second one is demographic predictors. Okay, a number of studies has conducted survey where adults from several countries are involved and the respondents evaluated their likeliness on cultured meat using Likert scale. Likert scale is a point scale where respondents measure how much they agree or disagree on particular statement about cultured meat. And the results are first, they would at least try cultured meat, and secondly, a substantial portion from the interviewees said they would eat it regularly and willing to replace conventional meat with cultured meat. For the demographic predictors, in terms of age, younger people find cultured meat is more appealing compared to older people. For gender, men tend to acknowledge cultured meat more compared to women. For diet and meat consumption, meat eaters are more drawn towards cultured meat compared to vegetarians. This is because they found that cultured meat may be the alternative for future protein choice. For the fourth one is socioeconomic status. Cultured meat is more appealing and readily accepted by high-income consumers. However, this might be differ according to geographical factors too. For education, higher educated consumers tend to show more readiness to substitute their conventional meat with cultured meat. And lastly, familiarity. Several factors such as lack of knowledge and views on morality about the cultured meat may be a barrier for them to overcome food neophobia. Therefore, more exposure is needed to educate public and normalizing the concept and making cultured meat is more well known among the consumers.
There are many research have been published on beta-carotene fortified food, and one of them is meat from mammalian cells. Many advantages can be yielded from this new technology in animals, such as increase in nutritional profiles, textures, and bioactivities. Although genetically modified food gives benefit for human consumption, but there are still social concerns about them. Interestingly, different countries give different perspective in consumer acceptance toward cultured meat. In conclusion, beta-carotene fortified meat can give benefits for human food and should be studied further as sustainable solution for world consumption. That's all from us. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.